hammered in with the fact that oftentimes in religious circles, there is a lack of education, sex education. All they're ever taught is be pure, be pure, be pure, repress it, repress it. I hate that it's current year, and I have to say, no, this 4,000-year-old ancient book of fairy tales and fables doesn't actually mean that you can't have...
You're kissing somebody else's husband until you know otherwise. And what right do you have to kiss someone else's husband if you don't know that he's yours?
But he's no one's husband at the time. The Karen haircut really does make it, dude. This is beautiful. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how religious purity culture very often fuels rape culture. So first and foremost, what the fuck is rape culture? Because listen, I understand as a former conservative, I used to think when I heard the term rape culture that it was ridiculous. My thought process was a culture that thinks rape is good. I'm pretty sure we like arrest rapists, right? Clearly we don't think rapists are good in this culture. But rape culture is much more of a extreme and like hyperbolic definition where what it's really talking about is an overall sort of idea that like women are the ones who are responsible solely, that the onus is on the women, right? And a lot of the times this is fueled by purity culture, which teaches women that they have to save themselves for their man, as if themselves is reduced to nothing but sex. Like maybe someone's had sex before, but they've never actually loved someone the same way that they love you. When it comes to rape culture, this sort of idea that like, well, you know, you've heard the examples before. Boys will be boys, for example, right? And that is only further fueled by these ideas that like women have to cover up. Women have to be modest. Women cannot tempt the man. Take this, for example. Carissa, my wonderful wife, posted this. A few families I grew up with sent their kids to this college. Incredible. Listen to the rules of this college. Just listen to this. Listen to the women's dress standards, okay? Dress clothes and shoes are required for all classes and religious services. Sweatshirts and denim are not considered dress clothes. All clothing must have modest necklines. Sleeves must extend below the elbow at all times. All skirts and dresses must be modest and without slits. They should come below the knee in all positions, whether sitting or standing. Oh my God. Could you imagine you like sit down differently and like someone comes over with a fucking tape measure? And they're like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Your dress is 2.3 inches away from your knee. Okay. Hose or, whoa! Watch the language, Christian school. We're in God's house right here. Why are you saying that? Oh, they mean like pantyhose. My bad. Hose or tights must be worn at all times. They must be non-faddish. Am I not Christian enough to understand what the fuck faddish? What is the word faddish? Intensely fashionable for... Okay, got it. Okay, I've never heard that one before. Non-faddish. You hear that? And of sufficient weight and color to avoid the appearance of bare legs. Oh, shit. Shoes are to be conservative in style with closed toes, sides, and heels. Damn! If you go to this college, not even the foot fetish guys are getting any. Holy shit! Excuse me, Mom. It's a little immodest to be showing your pinky toe that way, don't you think? Have you not read the textbook where it said that flip-flops are prohibited? Slut! Slacks, pants, suits, jewelry, makeup, or nail polish are not to be worn. No pants? What? Bitches, we going back to the 1950s over here. No jewelry. Please, my father gave me this necklace because he loves me before he went off to war. Can I please wear it? Never, you whore! Makeup or nail polish are not to be worn. Dude, God forbid, man. Could you imagine what would happen if a man saw a woman with purple fingernails? I thought that was the end of it. My bad. There's another page of the fashionable Christian woman Bible. The wearing of any type of men's garments is not permitted. So like a hoodie? Wristwatches must not give the appearance of a bracelet. It better have a big-ass fucking clock right there, all right? I should hear that bitch ticking. Or else it might look like jewelry and someone pops a boner. Next thing we know, purity culture has been violated. Ladies are not to leave their rooms without sufficient clothing. All ladies may not have bangs or cut and trim their hair during the school year. Oh, wait, hold on. It gets worse. Not only are you not allowed to get a haircut if you go here, so help me God, or else the uncontrollable apes, the men, may begin to lust after you. All ladies must also refrain from styling their eyebrows. That's right, ladies, you hear that? You want to honor God? You better have a fucking unibrow, okay? Don't you trim those suckers. They should look like my eyebrows, but worse. I'm talking 2 dead fluffy caterpillars stuck to your face. All ladies must wear their hair up neatly and simply. You hear that? Pigtails? Oh, whoa. It's a little flashy, don't you think? Why don't you put it up in a single pom-pom? Honey, God is in the house. Be respectful. There's also some men's dress standards as well. Dress shirts and slacks are still not acceptable. Not even for us guys. Come on, man. Dress shoes and neckties. Okay, whatever. Sleeves must extend well below the elbow and shirt tails must be tucked into the trousers. All fellows' shirts and pants must be loose fitting. I like how they have like 3 pages for the women. They're like, you must never shave. You must never get a haircut. And if you are to seek a haircut, you will ask the priest, not the local haircuttery. And then when it comes to the men, they're like, yeah, you know, just tuck in your shirt, boys. Wear a tie. Don't wear a hat. All male students must be clean shaven at all times. Wait, so the women can't shave their eyebrows, but men must shave? Sideburns must not extend. Holy shit, boys. You hear this? You go here. Do you like your sideburns? Think again. This ain't prison, son. This is Christian college. They don't allow students to wear brands and stores that show antagonism to Christian values and an unusual display of wickedness in their promotions. Okay. And then it gets worse. There's also rules for how you can date on here too. All physical contact is strictly forbidden. Teacher, Samantha handed me my homework and her hand touched my hand. Teacher, something weird is happening in my pants. Couples may not be in any room alone. Never. Couples should not pair off while on singing trips. Is this like a music school? Unless there is permission from the chaperone. Couples are not permitted to sit together in classes. Couples are permitted to sit together at one special service a day. Hey, you sat together at chapel. You're not allowed to sit together again during Wednesday prayer nights. And then let's say maybe you're sick and tired of all these rules in the chaperone. So you know what? You're like, you know what? I'm going to just get married. Incoming students may not date for their first 6 weeks of school. A couple who's been dating consistently for at least 3 months prior to registration is to meet with the dean of students for exemptions. No dating privileges will be given to divorced persons. I love that one. So my husband repeatedly raped and beat me, but thankfully I was able to divorce him, and now I'm here so that I can heal in the presence of God Almighty. There's a really nice man. Could I go out with him? Never, you sinful heathen! I have some interesting articles here, particularly this study, which shows how this idea of purity culture very much plays a role in rape culture as well. 99 Christian men and women participated in this study. Results demonstrated that endorsement of purity culture was related to increased endorsement of rape myths and increased likelihood of labeling marital rape and acquaintance rape as consensual sex. intrinsic religiosity was also found to be a significant moderator of the relationship between purity culture and rape myth acceptance. So this idea that women are the pure ones and you are only pure defined by your virginity, that hammered in with the fact that oftentimes in religious circles, there is a lack of education, sex education. All they're ever taught is be pure, be pure, be pure, repress it, repress it, repress it. That if someone is to be taken advantage of, they don't even know what the fuck is happening at that point. So when someone comes along and takes advantage of them, that purity culture is able to almost be weaponized against the victim. And you can see there's statistics showing that throughout religious circles, not just Christian circles, but religious circles in general, there have been massive amounts of sexual abuse that have been exposed and revealed. So this girl talks about how in 2019 she was drugged and taken advantage of. Though the assault didn't take place within the physical confines of the church, she believes evangelical purity culture played a major role. I grew up being taught wildly misinterpreted scripture like, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Purity culture compelled me to ignore my intuition, which was sending me warning signals early on in the date. I automatically assumed that whatever men want is correct. Now, you might be able to call this person a little bit ignorant, and it does sound a little bit ignorant, but at the same time, when all your life you have been hammered in these kind of ideas, you've been brainwashed by religious bullshit, this is the sad reality for many individuals. I understand the idea of abstaining and saving yourself for marriage, and I actually think there's a good argument to be made that you should wait for marriage to have sex. But if you don't, it doesn't mean you're damaged. It doesn't mean that you're worthless. It doesn't mean you're a slut. It doesn't mean that God is displeased. It doesn't mean that you've lost yourself, because yourself is not tied to whether or not you're a virgin. That is bullshit, and that idea is so harmful. And so with that, we're going to go over some of these purity balls, okay? Prepare to cringe yo ass off. My life inside the purity movement. Oh boy. This is going to be great. I'm sure.
Purity ball. It's like a symbol to tell everybody I make a promise to myself and to God that I will stay pure until I get married.
See, okay, already, stay pure until I get married. If you've had sex, it doesn't mean that you're not pure. It doesn't defile you. Like, that even alone just reinforces really bad ideas that if someone is taken advantage of, let's say a girl all her life has been taught that you are pure because you're a virgin, and then she's taken advantage of, raped, then what? Well, now all of a sudden she feels like she's not pure anymore. Does she even want to tell anyone? Should she be ashamed? There have literally been stories I read in these articles here that I just referenced about individuals trying to tell other members of their church about rapes and assaults that took place, and they were asked what they were wearing and if they were acting flirtatious or if they didn't tell them no or whatever. They were instantly blamed.
The Bible says that
Let
sex
the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous. 1, Old Testament, kind of weird. 2, I hate that I have to even reference a 3,000-year-old book of fucking fables in modern day. I hate that it's current year, and I have to say, no, this 4,000-year-old ancient book of fairy tales and fables doesn't actually mean that you can't have sex until marriage, and if you do, you're gonna go to hell. Let the marriage bed be undefiled. Let's look at the context here. In Hebrews, STDs were way more common. It made sense at the time to actually be quote-unquote undefiled by like an STD or a disease. Second of all, when they're talking about sexual immorality, even right here, they're talking about adulterers, people that cheat on their husbands and their wives. They're not talking about people that just engage in sex before they're married.
marriage is a sin, and I believe that.
Blessed are the pure in heart. Heart!
Purity ball.
Not pure in genitals.
Cherish a father-daughter experience.
Choosing to be abstinent is the only way to avoid an STD. Is masturbation a sin? Yes. Homosexuality is sin. It's just sin. I believe in the power of God. I praise you for each of these girls that are making the courageous decision to remain pure.
To remain pure. such a bad idea. So harmful. I like how it's all about women too. It's so fucking
We live
creepy.
in a world that-
It's always about like women be pure, women be pure, women be pure. What about like men? Make sure you respect if a woman says no. Make sure you you know, don't take advantage of people. Like, how come it's never about men and their behavior? It's always just about like women being pure and not, I guess, like enticing men. It's really fucking creepy.
Doing this purity ball, it's like a symbol to tell everybody that this is what I'm doing.
It's a big oath.
Yeah.
It's a big promise that you're taking.
And you may not accept it. You may think it's weird, but this is what I want to do because I want to take a stand for what I believe in.
So about you.
What
I want
believe in
to
or
make a
what my
promise
dad said.
to myself and to God that I will stay pure until I get married.
Oh boy. Oh, uh-oh. We are in Louisiana. Holy shit. Okay. The plot twist. The tables are turning.
What God sees in me. The smallest thing can lead to temptations to go further, and I want to stay as far away from those temptations as I can. Beautiful.
See, this is another thing too, is like having like hormones and wanting to like have sex is seen as like this evil, impure thing when it's actually like a completely normal part of like growing up and the like human experience.
I've set rules for myself. Like, I promised myself a long time ago that I will not be in a room alone with a guy unless it is family. Because I know that is something that can lead to temptation.
Unless it's family. And then we just paused it on this. Okay. We're already in Louisiana.
I never got the chance to go to a purity ball. No, I made one devaluing choice at 15 to become sexually active. Preparations are coming really good. I think that everything is on cue. That led to many more devaluing choices, so that by the time the decision of whether or not to go up and stand on a stage and take off my clothes, I didn't have a moral compass to even be able to make that decision. And so that stripped me of more of my value and
It
my...
sounds like people with like bad sexual experiences just like what makes you think that getting married is going to make the sexual experience good necessarily?
No, that's really weird. This is definitely not a mock wedding between a father and a daughter. This is far from that. These aren't consenting adults. These are kids that can't even make their beds, and we're giving them life and death choices by encouraging them into early sexual activity.
It's not even just about sex, it's about having boyfriends, kisses, everything.
Wait, but you guys are against like sex ed, which actually helps reduce that kind of shit.
I say, well, if two people love each other, how much more love can you give than to say, hey, let's wait till our honeymoon night? It is going to be hard. It's going to be tough. And she will be judged and laughed at. And hopefully she could take the heat.
Whereas when you take the opportunity to kiss a boy who is not
Thanks, Dad. She will be laughed at. She will be scoffed. She will be mocked and bullied, thrown into a locker, perhaps even given a swirly. Just see if she's able to take it. Hickety hee haw.
not your husband, and you don't know if he's going to be your husband because there's no guarantees. He hadn't put a ring in your finger. He doesn't even have a job. He's not even out of high school yet, okay? And you're going to kiss him. You're kissing somebody else's husband until you know otherwise. And what right do you have to kiss someone else's husband if you don't know that he's yours?
But he's no one's husband at the time. Oh. The Karen haircut really does make it, dude. This is beautiful.
What's that?
His future husband, I guess.
Well, yeah, somebody's future husband. That's the thing. We don't know. And I tell my young men, you're stealing something that's not yours. You're going to lay down with that young girl, potentially leave her pregnant, depending on your history, leave her with a sexually transmitted disease, definitely leave her emotionally fragile and 3 times more likely to attempt suicide, and then you're walking away. What gives you that right?
What do you mean 3 times suicide rate? Probably 3 times suicide rate if they've had sex and are now suddenly feeling shamed and guilted for it by people like you. I don't know where the fuck she got that stat from, but boys only want one thing, says person endlessly thinking about a sexual experience that hasn't even happened and won't for years. Exactly. This kind of bullshit actually sets boys up for thinking that, like, it's only one thing. I gotta think about one thing. All right. Once we get married, we can finally have sex. Yes, yes.
You don't have that right.
What if a dude is like a mega virgin, then he gets married, they fuck, and then like the post-nut clarity hits, and he's like, oh shit, can we divorce? Oh, damn it, what did I do?
Tonight it's sort of
Sanctuary
like
for
a
women.
celebration for all the girls that are going to be coming to the Purity Ball tomorrow. So we just want to encourage them, but give them sort of truth and knowledge that they can use as they go about their life from this point on. So.
And is it a road that you walk?
It is. When I was 22, I stopped having sex. I actually got an STD. I decided to, stop having sex until I was married, and I'm not married yet. So I'm still in that waiting realm, waiting.
Not all of them, but I think a lot of these people are just people that have had like bad sexual experiences and are now like saying that like being pure is the answer to all of this thing. I think the best thing to do after watching this is to just dip your balls into some holy water. But she's got an STD. At this point, it's like, are you the one who's abstaining?
And your future husband standing there, and not only maybe it being your first kiss, but God willing, it being his first kiss too. I mean, how cool would that be?
See, it's all about the girls. Even the guys, it's like, if the guys have already kissed some girls, slept around, boys will be boys, But you women, you are the precious, beautiful flowers who must be undefiled going into the marriage bed, according to the Bible.
I think part of me would feel really guilty if I ever fell into that temptation, because I know I've already made that promise. I'm very proud of
Maybe that's why people have a higher suicide rate after they have sex. Maybe it's not actually because they had sex, but rather because they've been socially conditioned to believe that their only worth is built around whether or not they're a virgin, and then they feel immense guilt after engaging in sexual activity because of bullshit that you people teach. A lot of the time, it's hilarious because conservatives consistently whine and complain about problems that they actually create.
Look into the eyes of that young lady and repeat after me. I choose before God
They sign a contract
to cover and pray for you in the area of purity.
Okay, girls, your turn. I make a commitment to a lifetime of purity, including sexual purity, from this day until the day I enter into.
It was absolutely enchanting, and I loved every minute of it. There's nothing
We got all these girls to sign the contracts that said they are not going to have any sex. They're going to stay nice and pure. When it comes time to sacrifice them, we're going to really have a good... I mean, when it comes time for them to get married, of course. Newsflash, you can have sex and still be a pure person. Newsflash, what about purity from drugs? What if they stay pure from sex, but they shoot up heroin all the time? That's not very pure, right? But you never talk about that.
I'm Meridian Paulson, I'm 14, and this is my third time going to the Purity Ball. I am
14?
So
In America,
Motherfucker!
there's a new women's movement
They don't-
attracting thousands of young
Bruh, they won't do sex ed, but they'll let 14-year-olds go to shit like this.
girls.
I'm Kaylin, I'm 8, and I'm going to the Beauty Ball tonight.
What? No!
Old-fashioned
Holy
view.
shit!
We long for men to be men.
This is so creepy.
For manly men to lead in a way that is healthy and honoring to women.
It's
Be a manly man like me. Sitting back in his X-Files shirt, high off an edible, chowing down on some fucking potato salad. This is what you're staying pure for, ladies.
They're called purity balls, a sacred covenant between fathers and...
What? What the fuck is the sword? If any of you break the rules, we'll cut your dick off.
between fathers and daughters.
Choose before God to cover my daughter as her authority and protection in the area of purity.
Where dads pledge...
This is so creepy. There's children here, dude. They're sexualizing kids. Like, it can be more like, hey, you might want to wait till marriage because there are things like you can develop attachments to people when you have sex with them, and that should be taken seriously. It's not something that should just be had on a whim. You should think about it. You should think about the consequences there, and you should be safe. And if you want to wait till marriage, then there can be some benefits there. Absolutely. So you could make an argument just the same that doesn't have to be like, your worth is defined by the fact that you are a virgin.
We have a lost generation of fathers as well as a lost generation of daughters. And this is a focal point that brings both of these relationships together and builds a platform of honor. And I think everyone goes away.
All right. Yeah. Those dudes' wives are looking young AF. Yeah, is this a fucking... is this like in a Islamic ceremony? What's the deal with all the child brides? Are there a bunch of conservatives here? What's going on? But holy shit, can we just stop with this? No stopping until all the balls have been purified. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.